Okay, so next we're going to transition into the service itself. So I'm going to log into the browser here, and I'm also going to start with the desktop. And so, we have three focal points of synchronization within the Soonr workplace. A lot of services only have two, which forces their users to access their content from a browser like I just logged into, and they can get access to a cloud environment that way, as well as a mobile application. Well, the problem with only having those two is if you lose your internet connection, you have no access to your cloud, therefore you have no access to your repository, and you can't work on anything if you lose your internet. So Soonr introduces a third component, which is a local folder. This is seen in a couple other solutions out there today as well. And that local folder allows you to anchor down through the local folder there to be able to support projects on your local computer. Now these take up disk space obviously on the computer, so you want to be able to manage what you have in that local folder and what you don't, right, based on what you're currently working on. Now if you unsync anything from that local folder, it doesn't change your permissions inside the actual cloud account to that project. And again, I'm going to be calling projects folders and folders projects. So I apologize if that confuses you guys. We call our folders projects. If I go in here and I see that these are going to be all my projects that are synced and stored on my computer locally, right? These are all the projects that I have locally right here. And if I open up my online and I go into my browser and I go to projects here, this is going to show up as being the same sort of list that you see on my local, right? And this can be altered in that I can unsync any projects in this list from my computer so that they're only found in the online and the mobile, based on whether or not that's something that I want to have found on my local disk within the Soonr Workplace folder, okay? And so this is a live sync. So the second I save a document in here or I add a new subfolder or something like that, it's going to reflect that over in my cloud environment as well. So if I open up, say, we'll go to external test here, and you can see that I have a subfolder in here like this. And if I'm going to try and add a new folder to this, and it's going to be a subfolder, and we're going to call this subfolder 2 and return. Okay, and so now you can see that I have a subfolder 2 as well as an email to PDF bug inside the external test project. So if I move over to the online now and I find that external test project right here, I should now have a new subfolder called subfolder 2 because I just created that over in the local, and it reflects immediately into the cloud. And so if I open this up, there's the subfolder 2 right there, okay? So the concept here that I want to try and convey to you guys is that if you're working on your online and you save something or create a new project, it's going to sync over to your local. And if you do something on your local, it's going to sync to your online. And those get carried over to the mobile as well. And it's a very live and sort of, a very live sync. It happens, almost immediately. So that allows users to really work out of this local folder without having to go online. And also, if they lose their internet connection, they can work through this local folder and get access to the things that are critical to them, okay? Now, you can customize this environment that's on your local folder, okay? You can adjust which projects that you'd like to have in here and which you don't, okay? And so if you go down to the desktop agent, down at the bottom right, this gets installed on your computer when you start your installation of the Soonr on this particular computer. It'll install this agent. It'll also install a Soonr Workplace folder, which I've been explaining here. And so both kind of come equipped on the service, right, with installation. And it works for PC and Mac, vice versa. It's no different from cross-platform except for the location of where the agent is. But if I open up this agent, and I open up the desktop agent like this, I have a progress button that allows me to check, what's been going on from a synchronization perspective historically, what's been synced historically here, and what's currently syncing. Okay, so if I ever want to figure out what's kind of going on in my agent, I can do that. Settings allows you to kind of drill further into the customization of this desktop agent, okay? And you can see here that allows me to look at, here's the bottom here showing me all the projects that are synced locally. So these are all the same projects that I have here in this local folder that I've been talking about, okay? And it's found here in the desktop agent. And this is where you can customize which of these projects you no longer want to have synced or not. So if I want to remove this AAA project right here, or this ABC project, I can unsync this project from my computer. And unsyncing the project will remove the files from this computer. The project will remain available on your other devices and your Soonr Online. So again, if I remove this and unsync this project locally, it doesn't change my permissions in the service. It doesn't remove access to that particular project. It just means that it's no longer going to be found on this particular machine locally, okay? And thus, no longer taking up disk space either. Now, you can also adjust this from a granular perspective. So maybe there's a project that has components of that project that I want to have synced locally, and maybe some that, you know, I'm okay with, you know, removing from my local computer to conserve space. And so I can go down to this Edit Selective Sync, and now this is going to allow me to go in and basically adjust which components of this project from a cascade of the project itself that I want to have synced locally and which I don't. And anything checked would obviously be synced locally, and everything unchecked would be unsynced but still found online. Okay? Does that make sense, guys? Any questions about the hybrid sync or the local folder so far?
Pretty straightforward.
Cool. Excellent. Okay, next I'm going to touch up on this folder sync tab. Okay, and this is a hybrid sync. It's something unique to Soonr, and we're doing a great job with this. What this is allowing is a very powerful capability that partners can deploy to clients that essentially allow you to take a local file taxonomy. So something found locally on a drive, could be a file server, my documents folder, something there like a file server of some type, and it allows you to keep it where its, you know, natural habitat is for the client, wherever that is. And what you can do is use this to basically bidirectionally sync either from the cloud down to a specific location locally, or take a local folder structure and sync it into the cloud from its natural location. So what you're doing is you're sort of replicating or virtualizing that local file structure into the cloud and giving you the ability to be able to map that into Soonr so that you can do away with things like VPN into that, you know, sort of network, or, you know, the local area network people can still be accessing that file server, but people that are maybe working remotely can tap into that same directory using Soonr instead, using Soonr's cloud. And that also allows you to back up and sort of sync that file taxonomy by using Soonr's technology as well, okay? And so that's called hybrid sync. And we have, again, I showed you in the partner portal, there's some material on being able to read up on this. We also stress that if you have any deployments that you're going to do with this, if you'd like to share those with us so we can help you ahead of time, we can, you know, prevent maybe you kind of drifting into the reeds or in the mud and getting yourself into trouble if you don't understand it yet. But essentially what this is doing, again, is really sort of being able to map things locally into the cloud, or taking things that are already in the cloud and mapping them to a different location from Soonr. Does that make sense, guys? And again, this is an admin feature. So your users are not going to be able to go into their agents, find this tab, and you know, be able to kind of map things all over the place and make a mess of it. Okay, so this is only going to be available to the administrators within the account. Does that make sense, the hybrid sync? Any questions on that?
No, not at all.
Okay, cool. Yeah, it's a neat feature, guys. It's really cool. I stress that you know, take a quick look at our literature material on that. But this is a great feature, and it really adds, you know, a unique environment, really kind of saying, oh, but, you know, a client going, hey, I'm still on a file server, we're pretty happy with that. And you can kind of say, well, how are your remote users tapping into this? Oh, well, they're VPNing in. Well, how do they like that? Is that working out? And it likely isn't. It's kind of a mess usually if you've ever, you know, had to be a part of that. So this is much easier, and it's much better, and it actually, you know, stresses also the ability that you can back that file server or components of it up using the cloud technology, right, which is nice. But you can leverage the mobile applications by being able to tap into that same taxonomy that the LAN users are doing, right? So that's folder sync. And again, can't stress enough that this is hybrid, and it's also an administration only. So a normal user opening up their desktop agent would not see that tab, okay? Backups, I'm not going to spend too much time here. I think this is a cool feature. It's a bonus feature. It's something that I think you need to kind of coach your clients in understanding. Really what's going to happen is they might say something like, but I thought everything that goes into Soonr is being backed up. And the answer is yes. Anything that is inside Soonr's workplace in the cloud, whether that's the local folder, or the online, or the mobile, those are all being backed up. They're all being synced as well, right? So this is a bonus backup. This is like a complementary backup or a supplemental backup, if you will, basically allowing the user to be able to back up things on their computer, various locations, and being able to sort of have a backup of certain things that are critical to them. Can they take that same stuff and basically do it in an alternate way by making it projects in Soonr and having a backup? Yeah, of course they can. But this is just a different way, right? This is like, basically searching their directory of their computer, finding things in here, and then backing it up using the service. Okay, so that's what it is. And again, you can sort of see how that can be a little confusing for some people that don't understand cloud very well. They're kind of going to go, well, I thought everything was being backed up in the cloud. And yes, it is. This is a complementary backup or a bonus backup, okay? The network drive here, or the network tab, is a way that you guys can adjust the throttle speed of the upload capability of Soonr, right? And again, we're limited to the technology of what the pipe is that particular client has. We can't, redefine the speed of what their internet connection is. If this is just allowing you to maximize the potential of the agent's ability to be able to sync at the fastest speed. And you can even do that at set times to allow yourself to have a little bit of a faster speed without cutting into bandwidth of that office if it's a low connection point. Okay? That's the desktop agent, guys. Any questions there? Or is that pretty comfortable? Make sense? Pretty clear on how that sort of operates?
Makes sense.
That's good.
Okay, cool. Excellent. Also keep in mind that, we're trying to drive the idea that you can work in this local folder and do a lot of things with this. And what I mean by that is you can always go into these projects and you can open them up and you can do things like send public links right out of this project, right? So, I mean, if I go in here and I find a document, I can right-click on these documents and I can do things like lock the document. I can send public links out from here. I can do all sorts of things in here that are really great from the Soonr workplace, right? So this allows you to do some things out of the local folder that are pretty powerful, not just having to do it from online, okay? So next we're going to move into the online environment so that I can kind of walk you through some of the basics and key functionality here. The first thing that most partners are probably going to want to do are migrate users into the service itself, okay? And from the demo perspective today, what you guys are looking at is me logged into a enterprise version of the service as an admin, okay? So that's what you're seeing today. And if I wanted to add people into the service, that probably might be the most logical first step to take is let's bring our users in. There's a couple of ways you can do that. First, you can click on the team tab like this, and you can go over to import members, and you can import members by way of a CSV file, right? A mass bulk CSV file. You can do that with that right there. The other thing you can do is add members individually, right? And so if I click an add member here, it'll do first name, last name, email address, and phone number, and then you can adjust how much storage you have allocated to each of the user. Again, the storage is done in a pool fashion, so each account has a pool of storage, and the admin is responsible for allocating X factor of storage to each particular user based on how much activity they're going to have in the account. And you can do equal shares across the board. You can skew it based on who's going to be productive and who's not, so on and so forth, right? You can also allow that backup that we just talked about to be active for members here. You can also decide to turn a normal user into a super admin or a regular administrator, or give the ability to create connections, which are external users to the account, right? So those are all customized here from the user page that you can create users from an individual perspective. You can also drill into this by just clicking on the team tab, finding one of your users, right-clicking on it, and going to edit, and then basically getting to that same field again, okay? So those are two methods of adding users into the team. The third method is going to be under configuration in the enterprise account, and it's going to be Active Directory. And from here, you can add your members via Active Directory. And I stress again that you please review our Active Directory literature. We do a good job explaining a little bit of things that we do differently from an Active Directory perspective. And if you take a little bit of time and review that, you could save yourself a little bit of a headache and a client that might be upset with you from messing up an Active Directory installation, okay? So that's something to make note of. So those are the three ways of adding members into the account. You can organize your members by looking at them here and turning them into groups as well here. And organizing bulk users into a group might be an easier way of deploying a certain amount of people to certain projects by inviting them, not by individually, by group. And you can call groups by department or project or whatever you want to do. And you can just create more groups right here. It's an unlimited amount of groups you can have. It's just a way that you guys can sort of further organize users in the account itself, okay? Now, the next thing I want to talk about is actually sharing projects with people, because now that we've added our members into the account, we've uploaded our data that we need to do, now what we can do is we can share these projects with the users by sort of associating and plugging them in where we need to have them plugged in. So let's go to that external test project that we talked about a little earlier today. And you can see I added a subfolder in here, and there's a main folder here. And so what I want to do is I want to share the entire project with somebody first and then a subfolder. So first, what I would want to do is be at the parent level of the project. If I'm at the parent level and then I share, obviously that means the person I'm sharing with is going to have access to the entire project. So I'm at the parent level of this project with a couple of subfolders, and I'm going to click Shares. Looks like somebody's already a part of this project at the read-only level, but I'm going to add one more, and I can search by name if I want to, okay? Or I can look at my little Rolodex here and find a specific person, and whether that's going to be a group, an external member, or an actual internal member. And for this demonstration, I'm going to use an internal member, and I'm going to invite Ashley, and then go done. And so now I have to decide on what sort of permission structure I want Ashley to have as the parent level access to this entire project. Does she want full access, which means that she can go in and delete this project, she can delete subfolders. Full access is almost like co-ownership of a project. That means deleting rights, creating rights, and modify rights. Okay? Create and modify would strip Ashley of the ability to delete things, but she can create new stuff, she can modify existing stuff. Okay? Modify means that she can no longer delete, she cannot create new content, but she can modify anything that's existing. And then read-only means no delete, no create, no modify. And then you would just be able to simply share the project. Also, if we would want this person to be able to reshare this project with other members or send public links, the next thing you would want to be able to do is hit this box here that would give Ashley the ability to reshare and send public links. Now keep in mind that the reshare and public link ability is correlated directly to what level of permission you gave Ashley. So meaning, if I gave Ashley modify access with reshare and public link, she could give public links and reshare at the modify level or downward, not upward. So she couldn't give somebody full access because she herself doesn't have that. Does that make sense, guys?
Yes.
Yep. Yeah, no questions on sharing, everything clear there? And very user-friendly, guys. I mean, if you make a mistake here, you shared the wrong information or you gave the wrong permission, you just simply go in here like this, you click on the little permission structure, you drop it back to what you want, okay, and then you save. And now it's been updated, and now she only has read-only access without reshareability, okay? So I think it's very user-friendly. I think you can get extremely granular in this, as I'm about to show you. We can share a specific subfolder so that the person does not see anything but that subfolder in the project. And I'm going to do that now. And the way to do that is you can either click on that subfolder and then go to shares, okay? Or you can go on the parent project like here. You can right-click on the subfolder. You can go down to share, and then you can just share this folder, that particular folder that's highlighted. And then once we're in there, you find the same way we just did, finding somebody in the service, and then you give specific access rights based on what you want, and share the folder. And now that person has a +1 next to the subfolder 2. Now what Dustin will see when he logs in is he will see a parent level project called external test. He'll click on that and he'll only have in there subfolder 2, and that's it. Okay? That makes sense, guys? And if you ever need to see what that folder structure permission, hierarchy looks like, you can click on the shares, and on the right side it's going to show you what that is. Okay, and the +1 is representing that there's somebody part of this and 3 people that are part of the external test. Okay? That makes sense, guys? Any questions on sharing?
No, makes sense.
Excellent. Excellent. So now let's talk about it. Let me give you guys a little tip too. This could save you a headache down the road. I personally do not recommend giving access to basic level users to a project at full level, full access. I don't recommend it. There's really no need for it, to be honest, because what that's doing is it's opening up a potential ability that this person can make a mess of the project by deleting subfolders, deleting things, and it's not like it's not like an automatic thing that they're going to do that, but they could. And worst case scenario, we give Ashley full access. She goes in and deletes subfolders and projects and documents of that project. Again, nothing is deleted and wiped in the service once it's in there. It stays in a deletion bucket for 180 days. You can always go back and restore it. But it's still a mess to go clean up, right? And there's really no need to give her full access. Why she need to be deleting anything? I could be responsible for that as the project owner. So what I would recommend is start at the create and modify level and work yourself down, okay? That's just my own personal tip. But I've seen a lot of headaches from people that have gone in and made mess of projects because they've given full access to everybody. So just use that as a best practice if you want. Okay, so let's just take that same example and say what happens if somebody does delete a project. Well, you can click on the projects tab like this. You can go to this little drop down. It's going to show you all the active projects, all my personal projects, all private projects that I haven't shared, all projects that I have shared, projects that people have shared with me, archived projects, and then finally down below is deleted projects. Okay, and that would show us all the projects that have been deleted. Okay, so again, worst case scenario, somebody goes in and deletes something. It's not the end of the world. You can go in and restore it. If you're looking for content in a particular project that somebody deleted or somebody might have deleted, you have a little box here that says show deleted. You can click there and it's going to let you know what's been deleted inside that project. And you can just go in and sort of basically right click and undelete or restore that. Okay. The other thing that you can do is look at previous versions. So we keep unlimited versions over a course of 180 days. So you can always go in and see if somebody's saved over top of something by going into something called the manage level. So you right click on that particular document, you go to manage, and then you can go to previous versions, and previous versions are going to show you the date and the time at which this person has saved the document. It's going to save the changed by is going to be the particular person. So you could have 30, 40, 60 versions and plus in here, and it's going to allow you to go back and figure out which one each person has sort of saved in there. Now, to counter this in a collaborative environment, what we've given you guys is the ability of having a document be locked. So if I go to the dashboard here, I can look at all my favorites. Favorites is just really basically a bookmarking to keep things front and center that you want to get to very quickly. So you can favorite things, and the way to favorite, you just right click and you can go to favorite or unfavorite. You have recent changes in here, which is going to basically give you guys sort of an audit log or a synopsis of everything that's been going on for you as a particular user of this account, right? Shared, documents deleted, documents changed, modified, and it's going to show all that in here. And you can search as well by user and date and file and all that kind of thing. Locked documents is, again, the best way to describe this is as a communication vehicle for multiple people to be able to communicate to each other, to let each other know when somebody has checked out a document. It's not a hard-coded locked document, not a padlock, meaning like if I go on vacation and I lock an entire project called finance, if they can't get a hold of me, then it's permanently locked. It doesn't work like that, right? That would be a real disaster if that was the case. Admins can always unlock a document, and even other users can unlock a document. It's going to audit log when that document was locked and when it was unlocked. But again, the goal of this is for it to be an alert or a notification or just a way to communicate between people to let each other know, hey, I've checked this out, I'm going to be working on it. And if you hover over the lock, it actually tells you who it is that locked it, what time, and what date. Okay, and there you can see I can even unlock it. A blue padlock really just indicates that I have locked the document. A red padlock means that somebody else in my team has it locked. Okay? And that's really what the locking mechanism does. It's just a way to prevent conflict files. If there is a conflict file, two people save a document, work on it at the same time, what's going to happen is that that same document is going to be found in two different forms inside that project with the parentheses next to each one indicating which version, whose version each one is. Okay? And you can just merge the two together. Any questions on favorites, recent changes, or locked files, guys? Does that make sense? Pretty clear?
Yes, pretty clear.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
Excellent. Public links is our replacement, our great replacement to file transfer protocol. So most companies you guys are going to talk to are probably still attaching things to emails and sending them out. That is really outdated. I think that's really a form that should not be used anymore. I think there's a lot of mistakes that can happen there. I think there's a lot of frustration into trying to FTP a lot of content. You know, file size restriction, version control, somebody's running a different operating system on the recipient side, they access it, it looks different, right? We've all run into that problem. Or maybe you're trying to attach something that's really large in nature and it becomes a real frustration to try and compress it and put it into an email to attach it and send. The other problem is trying to control and track that thing. If you send somebody confidential information, it's the wrong thing, you hit the send button on that attachment, there's really no way of sort of pulling that thing back. It's gone. It's already out there, right? So this public link is introducing a new methodology of being able to send content out of the cloud to a recipient in a way that lets you control it better, lets you sort of have that sort of realm of control over that public link. So let's just take a Word document here as an example. And you can see that this has already been created as a public link. And you would check this box, which would open these configurable options down here. And again, here's the generic link right here. And here's the QR code. And a public link can be used to send an entire project. It can be used to send a subfolder. It can be used to send a specific document. So it's really at whatever level you're on. Okay, if I was on the finance project and then I hit public link, that would give me access to the entire project as a public link to be sent. Here I'm at just this one document level. I click public link, and now what I'm going to be doing is sending a public link just with this document. Okay, and here's the generic link right here, and again, you can send a QR code too, so that's something you want to do. You can see that it's been accessed 2 times. I'm going to send this to myself so that it'll show up as a 3rd time, and you can see that we do some tracking in there as well. If I want the person who's the recipient to be able to download this, I can check that box to give them that ability, and if it's the original document, I can give that to them, or if I want to convert everything to PDF, I can, okay? And if I want to put a password protection on here, I can, so that I can control, you know, whether or not they can access by way of password. I can put a generic expiration date, okay? So if I want it to expire at a certain, you know, generic time, if there's a calendar date that makes more sense that I want it to expire, I can do that. And then furthermore, I can have a click count on how many times they click on the link before it expires. So, you know, 1 click means that after 1 click of this link, it's going to expire, okay? So for this demonstration, I'm just going to use a PDF form. I'm going to allow downloadability, PDF form, and then I'm going to basically send this public link to myself, okay? So I would just send it right out of here like this, rnorth@soonr.com. I'm going to put in here test and then send. Okay, and this is a public link I'm sending to myself. I'm going to open up another browser and you get to my email and log in, and I'll show you what this looks like. And you can see here at the top, I already received it. It's right here. And this would show up as the logo of the company that's sending. And it would also have the name of the person here. Right? So you have good branding in here. Notice it also is not requesting me to register as a Soonr user as the recipient. I just click on this link like this and it should open up to this document 1. And the branding at the top would be reflected of the sender's branding of the company, right? So you can have the branding in there for the company that's sending. And then it gives me the ability to access this document now. And I can also download if I want. Notice it's going to show as the Word doc, but if I try to download, it's going to convert to PDF. Okay? That makes sense, guys?
All good.
Yeah. And if I go back in, it did previously say 2 times. If I refresh this page, it should say 3 now because I just accessed this again. And now it does say access 3 times, last access a few seconds ago. If I show stats, I can go to access history. It's going to show me all the IP addresses, the locations, the dates, and I can even see an access map of where these IP addresses have been accessing this particular account or this particular document or public link, rather. Okay? That makes sense, guys?
Yeah, that's kind of
cool. Yeah, pretty neat. Good tracking. Now, if I said, wait a minute, I sent the wrong document to this person, I need to pull that thing back, I just uncheck this box like this. Let me go back to my email address. or my email. Here's the link. I click on it again. Now I don't have access to it, right? Because I've now rendered it void, okay? So you notice the control there, right? There's a lot more control there than file transfer protocol. It's so much better. I mean, you can make an unlimited amount of these, as many as you want as a user. They're all recorded and audited in the service, even the ones that are disabled. So if I go to the reporting tab and I go to projects and then I go to event type, you can see that I can run reports on all the public links created and all the public links removed, right? So I have a way of tracking all these public links that are outbound, okay? So now we've talked about that. Any questions on FTP? It sounds pretty good. Everybody clear on that? The next I'm going to kind of transition into, now I'm going to move into some of the administration features of the enterprise, okay? Just quickly talk about some admin features. So if I jump to the team tab, this is where you first start to see some of the admin features here, and I am logged in as an admin, so the admin features are going to show up here. The first admin feature is this manage devices here under the team tab. Manage devices allows me to basically get access to all the hardware that's been associated to the account from our users. In the policy section under configuration, and I'll get to this in a second, there's a policy called device authentication. And device authentication allows you guys to basically control all the devices and all the hardware that is associated to the account. So if somebody is new to the account, they log in, we invite them, they log in, and they try to install Soonr on that computer, you're going to see a little red flag here that would now pop up that says it's a pending computer that the admin now needs to authorize, so that's an official computer that can be rendered syncing to this particular account, okay? This also allows you to kind of search for active devices, disabled devices, recycled, and purged devices. So this is just a way you guys can monitor the hardware of all the users that have access to the account. Manage projects is the exclusive area for the super admin, okay? So a lot of people ask, what's the difference between an admin and a super admin? The super admin gets this tab called Manage Projects, and it's going to ask me to log in twice for security reasons. And once I log in, it's going to give me access to every project inside this account, whether it's private or public, okay? And I can basically search all members projects, all members deleted projects, all projects by active members and deleted members, and projects by groups. I can see all public links right here. And I can also go in and control these projects if I wanted to. Like this grid project, I could click here like this, and I can go down to manage, and I could reassign this project or take ownership of it, or shut it down, or it's basically the Wizard of Oz seat for the Soonr account, right? Is really the full access into this entire account. Is the manage project is only accessible by the super admin, okay? Configuration is where you're going to do branding. You're going to have your Active Directory. You're going to have your Salesforce integration. And you can go to your policy section. I'm not going to get into every single one of these because there's really a lot of this, but you can get into each one of these by basically opening up these policies and basically going into password policies. You got your two-factor authentication down here. You have your session policies, IP address whitelists. You can do remember me allows or timeouts. You have general policies like public links restricted. You can restrict the quota emails and the welcome emails to go to the admins instead of the users. So some general policies in here. You have your online editing policies. So online editing is a way that we integrate, and let's just go back to the dashboard here to a random document. So if I wanted to work on this PowerPoint presentation, but I wanted to work on it online, I can go up and I can edit this locally, which would open PowerPoint on my local computer, allowing me to work on it, save it right back into the cloud again. If I didn't want to drag it down to the local and I wanted to work on it purely out of the online, Soonr doesn't have a built-in editor online, so we've integrated with a bunch of different third-party vendors to allow you guys to have that, like Google Docs, OneDrive, or 365. This also allows for like the Google the multi-user editing sessions if you want to have those turned on as well, right? So they need to have an account with one of these providers, but it allows them to sync directly to that so that they can do online editing, okay? Where the policy section comes into play is allowing you to sort of granularly policy who gets access to which of those third-party vendors or which ones you want to be allowed inside the account. Any questions so far, guys? Make sense?
Yep.
Cool. Okay. Device policies is what I was talking to you about earlier. You want to have this turned on retroactive in the beginning of the account so that any devices moving forward are authenticated by the admins. You can also do this for mobile as well. So this is desktop and mobile accounts. And also, if you remove or delete a user, it will remote wipe those devices that have been authenticated by the admins, right? And by the way, if you needed to remove a user, it's very simple. You can find one of your users in here, and let's take somebody that has many projects, like this Elena Jacobs has 4 projects. If she gets fired or we let her go, we need to remove her, right? So we can disable her from the account by going into this, okay? And that would just shut her off from the account. It leaves her in the system. It leaves her all her projects as is. Nothing really changes except she no longer has access to the account. But if we delete, this is going to give us ability to basically say where we want to position her projects. So we can assign each of these new projects to a new owner, and any project that's not assigned will be assigned to us as the admin, and we can even go down to the hardware that this person has, and we can start to wipe their hardware, okay? So that's the way you can remove somebody from the account. Back to policies. We also have mobile device policies. We have a built-in MDM solution to the account. So Soonr provides a mobile application on all the various platforms out there like iOS and Samsung and Droid. And the Soonr Workplace Mobile folder, the Soonr Go application allows you to essentially have a container that really is locked in, meaning there's no third-party applications that are needed to achieve a mobile environment that allows users to be able to edit documents, annotate documents, create new documents. A lot of vendors out there will require you to sort of bundle that with other third-party applications to do that from a mobile experience. Soonr's mobile application is really an all-inclusive, which allows great security because the user never really needs to take the content out of the container. And you can even lock that down if you want to by disabling mobile exporting. So if I did that, it basically means that nobody can send anything out of their mobile application, but they can access, they can edit, they can create, they can do all the things they need to do, right? So this is just really allowing you to sort of lock that mobile experience even further for the users, okay? Any questions on the policies? And again, I'm moving quick because I'm trying to keep this under an hour and trying to get you guys as much as I can. I try not to leave anything out as I know that most of this stuff will come up as questions from a lot of your users. So the last portion is reports, and really the reporting section is very detailed. Just know that you have 4 categories of reports. You have team, you have user access, and you have project and special. And each one of these has a subcategory down here that will open up to allow you to do more various reports that you can get access to. I'm not going to go into each one of these in detail. There's quite a bit. But I recommend that you go in and play with this to kind of learn a little bit about some of these different reports. But you can go in here and you can learn about them by just clicking on them like this and then clicking on the event type, and it's going to show you all the different sort of reports that you can run. And I'll just quickly highlight some of these by looking at them. So I can get into the project level reports, I can get into the file level reports, and I can get into the folder level reports. And you can start to build these things like public links created, by a specific project that I want to find, by a specific file, by a specific user, right? So I can find a user and I can run a report on that particular user, like say Ashley, done, and then even a date at which Ashley might have done, like today Ashley public links created, and it'll show all those, and then I can either export that out or whatever. So this is allowing you guys to build these reports in here so that you can sort of build and customize reports, right? Make sense? Any questions on any of that, guys?
No.
Good. That's good. So I have a little time. I could try and get the mobile application to show you guys a little of the mobile app. Do you guys want to see that? Do we have some time for that and see if I can get that running?
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, sounds
Okay.
good.
Yeah, give me just a second and see if I have some juice in my iPad here. And 1 sec. Okay, let's see if we can get this reflector working here. And I apologize in advance if this doesn't work. I've had some issues with this reflector. So let me see if I can get this working here. Okay. Okay, that's not coming up. Try and shut this down again. Try this one more time. These reflectors are really finicky. Well, I might be having some problems with this. I think I might have to try and redo an installation of this reflector, so I might not be able to show this to you guys right now. But keep in mind, let's just go over some facts. The mobile application has two forms. There's two mobile applications that are live today, guys. There's a Soonr Go mobile application, which is currently only available to the iOS. It will be coming out to Droid and Samsung very shortly, but it's only available to the iOS. That's our newest and best mobile application. It's called Soonr Go. Our older mobile application called Soonr Workplace is available on both iOS and the Droid marketplace, and it's actually you can use both of them the same on the same device if you want. We're allowing some flexibility there until we roll out all the features of Soonr Go. But please take a look at both of those. You're able to annotate, you're able to edit, you're able to create documents. And it's really slick. It's a very powerful application. And again, the best part is it's all inclusive. It's all in one mobile application. So you're not having to band-aid that thing together with a bunch of third-party applications. But my suggestion is just best thing is just install it on a device and just play with it a little bit. But please reply back to me if you have any questions about the mobile piece. I'm happy to get on a call with you after I figure out how to get this reflector going if you guys want to see that at some point, okay?
Sure.
Yeah. Was that helpful, guys? Did that address some of the walkthrough that you guys needed in terms of the service?
Yeah, it was clear.
Yeah, definitely helpful.
Awesome, awesome. Well, I appreciate your time today, guys. And listen, if anything comes up regarding the understanding of either the partner portal or the service itself, please reach out to us. We're happy to help you guys, and we want to answer your questions. So let us know. You can reach the channel manager who you're working with, or you're welcome to reach out to me as well. Okay?
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thanks.
Yeah, have a great day, guys.
You too.
You too. Bye.